here, Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. Today is Friday, May 1st, and I'm back for my stitching update. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. This is a video podcast about cross stitch and sometimes quilting. But if you are not interested in quilting, no worries, because I usually show them in the second half of my video and I give plenty of warning before they make an appearance so that way you can click on to the next video. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Hope you've been creating and stitching and making all of the fun things. Can you believe it's been 2 weeks already? I cannot. I feel like April disappeared in a puff of smoke because one day it was April 1st, then it was Easter, and now it's May 1st. If you are participating in Stitch Mania, I hope you're having a lot of fun. I know it just started today. It's the kickoff to Stitch Mania, but I haven't really been going on social media. I usually will go on and then I'll see like 2 or 3 pictures and then I get distracted or called away, and then by the time I go back, it's refreshed. But from what I'm seeing, everyone has a lot of great plans this year, and I'm excited to see all that they have to show as Stitch Mania goes on. It's a lot of fun. There's just like this festive atmosphere across social media, and it's great. I am doing Spectator Mania this year. I decided at the beginning, kind of like the beginning of last year and this year, that there was just no way with the plans, the long-term plans and the goals that I have, if I were to stop and do Stitch Mania, I would never meet those goals. And I really do want to I want to get these things done more than I want to start all the things. We'll readjust next year and we'll see. I think for the most part, I don't know, I like my rotation. I don't know, I think I have more fun seeing what everyone else is doing, and it just might be it might be a Spectator Mania forever. So we'll see. But as for right now, I've just been maintaining my rotation. I did have a new start, a really fun new start, as well as I do have plans. But before I get into those, I do want to talk about a little bit of happy mail that I received. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that last summer I started Sally Spencer and I finished it. It was a stitch along and it started, I think, July 1st. And I ended up finishing it last year, November. I think it was in November that I finished it. And I held on to the chart because I just wasn't sure what to do with it. And my biggest fear was that if I were to relinquish it, the person that got it wouldn't get it because they wanted to stitch it. They would get it because they want to sell it. Because like anything that goes out of print, the price inflates immediately, and it's unfortunate, but it happens. And so I held on to Sally Spencer, and I figured when the right time came, the right person would come along, and I, would feel good about, giving Sally Spencer away. And that time came, and I ended up giving Sally Spencer to Cynthia Brew, Stitching in the Light, I think is the name of her channel. And I sent it to her. I can't remember what prompted, there was some sort of a tag or some sort of a challenge, and every day there was like a challenge question, and then you had to answer it via a picture and like why. And I guess one of the challenge questions was, what is your unicorn chart? And she said that Sally Spencer was hers, and I just happened to be on there, just happened to see it. And I immediately sent her a message and said, I have Sally Spencer, I would love to send it to you. And so I sent it to her. And I know that she has plans to start it at some point. I don't know when. I just know she was really excited to get it. And she sent me something. She sent me this adorable bunny, which I love. I love this kind of stuff. It's primitive, it's rustic. I just love it. And I'm excited to have my little bunny now forever. It will come out every year and it'll be part of my decor. It is so cute, so well made, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It's just adorable, and it totally made my day when it came in the mail. And so thank you so much, Cynthia. It was totally unnecessary, but I absolutely love my sweet bunny. And even though all my Easter stuff has been put away, he's still up. for a little while, so that way I can enjoy him for a while before I have to put him with the decorations. But thank you so much. I love him. And then I did also get some, well, I got some stash enhancement. I also did get some threads, but the threads have been dispersed to the charts that I needed them for. And so I didn't, see what happens is when they come in, if I don't put them away where they're supposed to go, because a lot of the times it's not necessarily the called for, it's, you know, let's say apple cider. The General Arts apple cider is sold out everywhere. You can't get it anywhere right now. And so, but I needed something brown that was that color. And so I ended up picking like sarsaparilla or sable or one of those. And if they come and then they set aside for my video, I will forget what it is or where it is that it's supposed to go because I never write anything down. I never do. I always think I should, but I never do. Or I do and I lose the piece of paper. It's just, I guess it's just I don't know. I'm also a huge procrastinator, so maybe that's part of it. I just procrastinate. So if I don't put them where they're supposed to go, I will never figure out what it is or why I bought them. So the threads I've already put away, but I did, so when I was on Kitten Stitcher's website, and that's where I was able to find some of the threads that I needed, and threads can never travel alone. And because I am already doing 2 other charts in the series, when I saw that she had this one in stock, I snagged it. And so that is Christmas at Hollyberry Farms. And I'm sorry, I meant to take all of the, or I don't have a lot. I meant to take this out of the plastic case, and I forgot. So my video today is sort of squeezed in because my brother called me right before lunch, and I had planned to do my video after lunch, and he called me to see if I would watch my nephews. And so they're supposed to be here at 3, and it is almost 2 o'clock. And so I was like, oh crap, I got to do my video really fast. And of course, everything that you need to say goes immediately out the window. Luckily, I had things already pressed before I got the phone call, and I meant to take these out of the packages, and I didn't. But I know everybody has seen Christmas at Hollyberry. I also have Halloween and summer. And then I found this one. So this is by Chessie and Me. This is called The Breath of Autumn. I love this one. I mean, it's autumn. So of course I had to have it. Because I've been trying to find stuff that's more, not necessarily Halloween, because I love Halloween, but I need to, and I have a lot of like Halloween. I mean, if you look at all of my decorations and anything I've made for a holiday, Halloween is set. Like if I never had to stitch or make a quilt or do anything for Halloween, you know, gather decor, anything, I'd be set for the rest of my life. But when it comes to autumn itself, and especially like Thanksgiving, autumn, that kind of stuff, I don't have a lot. And so when I saw that, it is definitely, it screams Thanksgiving. It's got a beautiful turkey. And of course, I love the house. I don't know what it is about a big giant house. I love them. I love to stitch them. They're my favorite. And I don't know, the bigger the better, honestly. So those were the 2 new stash enhancements. I would like to say that I will stitch both of them this year, but I don't know that will happen because I have so many other things that I want to stitch. And honestly, let's be completely honest, I know that those 2 definitely was an emotional purchase. You know, just something happy to come in the mail, kind of take your mind off of everything that's going on. And so I know that that's why I bought those. I did want them, but you know, it's not like I needed them, but I just wanted to have them. So that's why. So that's all I have as far as, you know, like stash enhancements or purchases. A lot of, so one of the, my new stitch, the new start that I did, that's where a lot of the threads that I purchased went to, and so I'll have those to show you. But I thought first I would show you some of my previous finishes. So the day before, maybe it was yesterday. Was it yesterday morning? It must have been yesterday morning. So the day before, or a couple of days before, I took all of the Easter decorations down. And so one of the things that I pulled out of my decor was this. So I finished this last year. This is Basket of Cherries by Blackbird Designs. This was a stitch along that I did. It was the very first stitch along that I had, well, I co-hosted it with Deborah. So it was the very first time not only had I ever co-hosted a stitch along, but it's a stitch along in general. And so this was the first one. And it was a lot of fun. It stitched up really, really fast, and I went ahead and I fully finished it in a frame that I picked up from Michael's for a few dollars. I have good memories attached to this because I was working on this when Allison graduated high school, and then all of my family was here for Allison's graduation, and we just had one big party that lasted a couple of weeks. And it was a lot of fun having my niece and nephew that live down in Las Vegas here, and just kind of having everybody, my nephews from here, and just the house was full of people and noise, and it was just a lot of fun. And so this has a lot of good memories because I was working on this while all of that was going on, and it was a lot of fun. And then these next two finishes that I do want to talk about. So 2 or 3 summers ago, I finished both of these. And I Priscilla-fied them, so I put, I finished them on mat board, and I, did the washers and the magnets, and then they each had a frame that they went into. And, in the time between doing that and then now, I've changed the way that I want my stitch pieces to be displayed. I like the more like rustic primitive. And so these two particular things had been finished with the washers and the magnets and, attached to the frame and all the things. And now I've thought about both of that. Before I even got my decor, I knew that these were in them. And I'm like, I need to fix them. So the first one is Knee High by Hands On Designs. I finished this one, I think it was either the summer before last or even the summer before that. This came out of a Just Cross Stitch magazine. I know it was in the summer, it was in August, maybe 2017, I don't remember, but I do know that it's been reprinted into a new chart. I don't remember what I stitched it on. I do know it was a 32 count and it was all DMC that I used. So this is one of the ones where it's got the washers and then there's magnets on the frame. But what I've decided to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the washers and the magnets off of the frame and off of the back of this. I'm going to go ahead and attach it permanently, and then I'm going to do the cording around it. This is Lady Liberty by With Thy Needle and Thread. I think this one is a mixture of DMC and maybe Fancy Floss. Maybe it's just DMC. I think it's just DMC. And this is also another one that the more I got to thinking about it, I thought I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to permanently mount it into a frame. I'm going to pull the magnets off the back. And because I think originally when I finished both of these pieces, the plan would be that anything that I finished that was around this size, it would go in the same frame, and then I could just use the frame over and over. But I've never made anything that's this size, and when I do, it usually goes into a frame by itself. So this stuff, it's been, it has glue and all of that, so I'm not gonna detach it. I'm just gonna go ahead and add some cording around it and permanently mount it into the frame that it was originally made, originally had been set in, and then I'll grunge up the frame. So I had thought I was gonna have time to do that over the past 2 weeks, and life got away from me. So I'm hoping that maybe this weekend or even like the beginning of next week, I will be able to do those, and then I can show you in my next video, what it is that I decided to do. Let's talk about my progress over the last 2 weeks. You know what I'm gonna show you now. If you've been following along for the last, 6 months? Let's see, November, December, January, February, March, April, 6 months. If you've been following along for the last 6 months, you have to know what I'm gonna show you first. Queen of Freedom. So this is what happened. Over the last couple of weeks, I changed my rotation a little bit because I talked about Queen of Freedom last time and my goal for her. and that was to have her completely stitching, beading, everything done before Memorial Day, which I think the Memorial Day is like the 25th of May. It's whatever that Monday, the last Monday of May. And I wanted to have her finished, and then I wanted to have her fully framed, fully finished up on the wall before the 4th of July. That was my plan. So I'm stitching along, and I'm realizing that because, see, what's happening is before the world sort of shut down and everybody was sort of, they recommend you stay home and they canceled school and everything, I got more stitching done than I do now. I'm lucky if I can get like an hour and a half a night now. And so my plan had been, I was going to take a day over the weekend that my video came out, so 2 weeks ago, and I was going to stitch on Queen of Freedom. I was going to, do it in the afternoon. I was going to block off this whole amount of time, and I was going to stitch on her. And that did not happen. I ended up getting busy, and it didn't happen. Before I knew it, the day was gone, and I thought, if I don't restructure my rotation, I'm not gonna be able to get her done. Because, once the stitching done is all the beadings, and I don't know how long that beading is gonna take me. So I popped her into my regular rotation. So instead of working on Brian's stocking, which I should have rotated in this past week, I decided to work on Queen of Freedom. But I'm almost done with the stitching. Almost. I'm so close. So here she is. She's looking fabulous. I love her. I mean, I love her, but I get so excited when the weekend rolls around. Here's the thing. When I'm stitching on her, I can hear like the Battle Hymn of the Republic playing in my head when I'm stitching her. I mean, she's fantastic. I love her. I cannot wait to have her on my wall. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I love her so much. She does have a twin. Christy at Crosshatch Quilts has her twin, and I think we're almost in the same spot now. I think she has the Krynic and then the beading to do, and I have the rest of the stitching. So I just have this. There's like a little bit right here, and then there's a tassel that comes down, and that's all the stitching I have left. And then I have all of the beading and then the back stitching on her face to do. So I think we're relatively close to each other, and our plan is that we're going to put the very last bead or stitch in at the same time. So that way we will have that memory together of our twins. So they both look amazing. She showed, I was video chatting with her the other day, and she showed me her progress, and her queen looks amazing. I'm excited. I'm really excited you guys know how much I love her, and I talk about her all the time, and you guys are probably tired of me, talking about her, but I love her so much. She's so fabulous. I can't wait. And she'll be a permanent decoration in the house. So she'll be in the other room. My goal is that by the end of this month, by the last Monday of May, she has to be done. And so I worked on her last night, and she's so close. She's so close, and I'm really excited to get to those beading. I don't know how long the beads are gonna take, but I'm excited to sort of watch her come to life. It's gonna be so fun. Oh, Anniversaries of the Heart. Here we go. So I started Pink Hill Manor. This is Stitch Along. It's being co-hosted with myself and Deborah. I started everybody started theirs back on January 1st. My goal for this one is to have it finished by the end of the year, so December 31st. I guess this one technically is the April block, so I'm hoping that I will be able to get this one done in the next couple of weeks. It would be nice to go ahead and, that way I can get started on number 5, which is the farmhouse. This block here, I am stitching it for my grandparents, Roy and Yvonne. Yvonne is the grandma that I talk about all the time. My grandfather sadly passed away back in 2002, but here is my anniversaries so far. I'm loving it. And then here is my progress on Pink Hill Manor. I would have been a little bit farther along, but I ended up losing a day because I wasn't feeling very good. So I'm hoping that I will be able to work on, to catch up a little bit. So the other night I started working on the house, and I am using these threads. So I'm mixing up DMC and Fancy Floss. These two DMCs are in a floss away bag because they broke off of the ring. I also have my beautiful thread keeper jewelry for your floss. I have mine that I got from, or she sent this one to me, Socks for Mom, Becky. She sent it and I love it. And I just, she just posted a thing this morning. She had fall ones that she was selling on Instagram, and I was able to snag some. I'm so excited. I love fall. Anyway, so this is what I'm using. I'm just kind of, and I can't even say that these are the ones that I'm going to stick with, and I also can't say that I won't add some, because as I'm going along, I'm finding that sometimes certain threads work and sometimes they don't. So it's always changing. But so far, I like the color palette. I'm stitching this on 35 count sand with a variety of everything. And I love it. I'm stitching it 2/2. And it's a lot of fun. My grandparents' names will go down here, and the date of when they got married, I think it goes on this side of the house. They got married in 1956. And in fact, their wedding anniversary is coming up. It's on Monday. I wish I could figure out how many it's been. I used to know all of that. So, anyway, that is my progress so far on my anniversaries. I love seeing everybody's progress. You guys are doing amazing. Some of you guys are ahead of me, and then a lot of us are kind of right within the same blocks. And so it's a lot of fun. I am enjoying seeing everybody's progress. Thank you so much for joining in. It's so much fun. The hashtag is BB Anniversaries 2020. And it's a lot of fun. And I hope you'll let us know that you're stitching. Deborah's Instagram name is Canopied Stitches on Insta. I will tell you that so let's say that you are a private account and then you use like BB Anniversaries 2020, I won't see it because you're private. And so you have to, let me know you're doing it so that way I can follow you, because I love seeing everybody's progress. And I don't want you to think that I'm ignoring you, because I'm not. It's just a funny thing that, if you're private, and I'm an outside person, I'm not going to be able to see it. Even if you tag, even if you tag me, or even if you use the hashtag, I still won't see it. So if you're a private account, you might have to make yourself public, or let me know. You can send me a direct message on Instagram and let me know that you're participating, and then that way I can go follow you. Anyway, and I forgot to mention that. I should have done it a while ago, and every time I do my videos, I just forget, and then I remember it hours from now. Also, Queen of Freedom is being stitched on 32 count Vintage Sahara with all of the called for everything. I also had a new start, unexpected new start. Let me move things around here. So let me tell you the story about this one. You guys are gonna laugh. So Christy, Crosshatch Quilts, and I have been friends for many, many years. And the funny thing about the two of us is, without us realizing it, we sometimes end up working on the same things, or we purchase the same things. And it's not like we have like an inside peek on what the other one's doing or anything like that. It's completely random that this happens. And it's always been that way since the time that we found each other on Instagram, and through all of these years, that's the way it's always been. We always end up in the same place, working on the same things, and our tastes are completely the same. And she always jokes that we're like sisters separated at birth, like twin sisters separated at birth. But I think that we were sisters in a previous life, and that is why we always end up like together in the same place, and it's hilarious. For instance, I bought a quilt kit, and I sent her a picture of it. I was like, oh, look what I bought. I made a little bit of extra money, and I'm really excited. Look what I bought. She's like, you're not going to believe this. I did too. It just got here today, and mine had got there the day before. And we did not like talk about it. We had no discussion. You know, I didn't say, hey, I'm going to buy this. And she said, me too. It was, hey, I bought this. What do you think? Am I crazy? She's like, no, you're not crazy because I bought it too. I mean, that's just kind of the way it always happens. That's just sort of we just end up in the same place and sometimes it can be it used to be a little eerie, you know, like not like creepy eerie, but it was like, really? How did that happen? Like I must have said something. And no, it's just, that's the way it's always been with the two of us. We like the same. We're the same. We're exactly the same. If something happened to me, my husband could take all of my stuff and send it to her, and she would love it all, and probably vice versa. So it's just the way it's always been. It's funny. You know, of course, in the beginning, it was like, oh, okay, that's funny. And now it's like, of course. So it's a lot of fun, and we have a lot of fun with it, and we have a lot of our plans are exactly the same. It's just, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. So that long story, Queen of Freedom, she started Queen of Freedom before I did. I think she started before I even had the chart. I got the chart for Christmas 2 Christmases ago. And I started it in February of last year, and I had never seen her working on it. And if I did, it's not like it was something that I remembered. And so we ended up working on her at the same time. And so that's how they both ended up being like twins, because we're both working on her at the same time. And, you know, we both love it and everything. And the fact that we both were working on her, it's fun. And so this whole time it's been fun working on it, knowing that she's working on it too. And we've sort of kept each other motivated to finish. And now it's near the end, and it's a little sad. And so about 3 weeks ago, she sends me a message and she shows me this. So this is Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain. And the funny thing was, she sends me a picture of it, and I kid you not, I was on Pinterest, and this one comes up on Pinterest all the time for me, especially like in the last couple of months. And it shows up as a Etsy recommendation. And you know how sometimes, like if you have a Yahoo account, in the sidebar, there's advertisements. This would come up as a recommended from 123 Stitch. It was always coming up as a recommendation. And so she sent me a picture. She's like, I bought this. I've been slowly kitting it up. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. And I'm like, you're never going to believe this. It's on my computer right now. I was just looking at it. She's like, of course, because we're twins. So I went ahead and, you know, we talked a little bit about it back and forth. And I'm like, we need another project that we can do together. And so I went ahead, I purchased this copy from Kathy Barrick, and it came last week because I started this on Friday. It came Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it came Tuesday or Wednesday. And so we went ahead, it came Thursday. Wait a minute. Did it come Thursday? It must have come Thursday because I sent her a message. I said, it's here. And then we were supposed to start this in May for Halloween in May. And it came, and we decided to go ahead and start it that night. So it must have been Thursday night. So anyway, this is our new twin project. We're very excited about it. All of the rest of my threads arrived yesterday from Kitten Stitcher, and this is my start. So it's a beast. I mean, this is how big a piece it is. This is 40 count Vintage Country Mocha that I had. Well, I actually robbed this from something else I had in my stash. And I went ahead and started it. I am using, well, she sent me Jen Quirks and Stitches. Christy sent me her conversion that Jen had sent to her. And so I am using the majority of Jen's conversion. And then I added, what I didn't have, I added DMC. So my border is going to be DMC 310. A lot of the reason why is because Gentle Arts is becoming harder and harder to find. And so I had to make some substitutions as well. But this is my thread. Isn't it gorgeous? I love it. I wish I could do it just like Nicole's Needlework does, because she She does an amazing job at displaying her threads. But these are the threads that I will be using. These are all Gentle Arts, and I love it. So love it, and I'm so excited. So excited. I have to pause for a second because I see the UPS is out front. Hold. So the good thing about being out in this room is that I can see everything that's going on out in front of the house. And so I was able to see the UPS guy come, and I didn't want him to ring the doorbell because as soon as the doorbell rang, everyone would come out of the room to find out who was here. And also Molly would start barking. So anyway, I was able to head him off before any of that happened. However, Molly decided he was her bestie and she wanted to be outside with him. And he was good about it, so that's good. Most people, they see Molly coming because she's such a big dog, and they get a little like fear in their eyes because she is so big, but she's absolutely harmless. She is an old lady. She just turned 12, and we are just so blessed that she is still with us because honestly, her health is not the best. And so we are just enjoying her every single day. Anyway, so before I paused the video, I was talking about the threads, and I did say that I was using Jen from Quirks and Stitches. I was using her conversion. Christy sent me her conversion. And honestly, Jen has like the best color taste ever. Everything that she stitches, just between like the threads and the fabrics that she chooses, it's like beautiful. She's just really good at picking out color. And I don't know that she watches my videos. I was gonna send her a message letting her know that I was using her color conversion, and I probably should do that. But she just has such an eye for color, so beautiful, and I'm excited because I've been watching her progress, and she's I know she recently posted a picture not so long ago because I do remember seeing it, and just it's beautiful. Like everything she stitches is beautiful. And the colors that she has picked out are beautiful. And if I wasn't able to find because the chart is charted for MPI silks, that's way out of my budget. And then it does have a DMC conversion for the MPI. And then Jen has her Gentle Arts conversion. And if I wasn't able to find the Gentle Arts thread, because it's getting a little bit harder to find, because right now Gentle Arts isn't dying. They're shut down for the time being until, kind of the world gets back to normal, and then they'll open back up and start dying again. But it's getting a little bit harder to find Gentle Arts, and so I was very happy. I had some in my stash. I robbed some from Olga's stocking, and as soon as the world gets back to normal, I'll replace it. And so what I wasn't able to find, I went ahead and did it with DMC. And there is one addition that is completely, it's not part of the chart. It's something we decided to do. So right here, you have these two twin ladies. And so Christy and I decided that we wanted to do our dresses of both girls differently. And so I will be stitching mine in the new color that is Witching Hour. I think it's new. I think it just came out. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. It's the first time I've seen it, but this is Witching Hour. And it's sort of like a black purple, and it's gorgeous. And so I am excited to do that for my ladies. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm glad that we have a new project to be doing together. And because, we both were a little bit bummed that Queen of Freedom was kind of winding down. And even though we stitch on almost all of the same things, it's fun when you have somebody to do like a project with. And we joke that we just refer to Autumn on Lazy Bear Farm as the Beast. And we know what the other one's talking about because even Kathy Barrick in her notes, she calls it the Beast. And we know it's probably going to take us 7 years. But it's so fantastic, and I absolutely love it. And so when I was kitting it up, so when it came in the mail, I showed my husband, Brian, and I showed him. And then he saw the piece of linen I brought out for it. And he walks over and he's like, "You're starting another big one?" Like, yes, because that just seems to be my happy place. The bigger, the better. If it has a big giant house, even better. If the house has 7,000 bricks in it, I'm there. I'm loving it and I'm wanting to stitch it. I don't know. I'm a glutton for punishment, honestly. So the way that my rotation's going to work going forward, I'm still going to work on Queen of Freedom on the weekends. And but I am going to try to get all of her stitching done. So as long as I get her stitching done this weekend and get started on her beading, I don't know. I'm either going to put her down into my permanent rotation or into my weekday rotation until she's completely done, or I might just wait until next weekend and start. I'm sorry, that was Alexa, if you heard that. Anyway, so I might keep her in my weekday rotation until she's done. I haven't really decided yet. So I know that I have to finish her stitching this weekend, and I'm really close. So I'm excited to get back to her tomorrow and Sunday. Other than that, I think my Fridays are going to be for Autumn on Lazy Bear. Of course, I'm going to continue on with my Anniversaries of the Heart. I'm going to be working on Pink Hill Manor. And then, what am I going to work on when Queen of Freedom is done, you might say? So first of all, I'm going to apologize because I meant to pull it and iron it, and I forgot because my brother called me about that time. And then I was putting stuff away before the video because I knew I'd be doing my video and it might take me almost all the way up until when my nephews are going to be here. And so I was trying to put like things away because I have my little nephew who just turned a year in March and I get to babysit him too. And so I was trying to put away things that will kill him and fall on him. And so I put the iron away before I iron this. So I apologize that it is wrinkly. So this one has been sitting for a very, very long time. It's one of my oldest whips, and it has been calling to me the loudest for the last 4 months. And I have seen it finished. I think Frankie Easter on Instagram, I think it's Frankie Easter 14. I might be totally wrong, but that I feel like that's her Instagram name. She just finished hers, and so I've been seeing it. It's been popping up everywhere, and I've been anxious to get back to it. And so when Queen of Freedom is done, this bad boy is going in my weekend rotation. This is by Carriage House Samplings, and I love it. I love all of the Hollyberry. I love all the Hawk Run. Did I call it Hollyberry Farms? I hope I didn't. It is autumn at Hawk Run Hollow. I probably did. I don't know. I'll find out when I go back and watch my video over again. It is autumn at Hawk Run Hollow. And I started it back in 2017. Anyway, this is my progress, and it's horribly wrinkled because I did not get a chance to iron it before I removed the iron of death from the area where I am sewing. So I'm stitching it with all DMC on a piece of, I think it's 40 count. It's 40 count Vintage Country. In fact, this piece right here, I'm pretty positive is the sister piece to the one that the Beast is being stitched on, Lazy Bear Mountain. So that's my plan. It has been calling to me loudly and obnoxiously from the basket of mocking whips. So that ends the cross stitch portion of the video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. The quilt, I do have some quilting I want to talk about. I have some mini quilts I want to show, and then I will go for the day because what time is it? Oh yeah, I got like 20 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clean all this off. I'm going to bring the quilts out and talk about them really fast. If you're not interested in seeing that, this is a great place for you to click off and go to the next video. I thank you so much for being here. But if you want to see the quilts, hang on a sec. Let's talk about quilts. So I'm going to show you a couple mini quilts. I was going to show you some bigger size quilts that are my like 4th of July summer Americana, but they are still put away in the chest and I haven't got them out yet, so I will show them in my next video because they will be out then. This one's just a little mini quilt that I hang on my little Ackerman wire stand. This particular block came out of Lori Holt's Farm Girl Vintage book, the first one. I think that's the one it came out of. I think that's, yeah, it was a Farm Girl Vintage. So it's just a little American flag. It just needed a little something for summer for my wire stand. And I quilted it on my sewing machine. And then I think I showed this one last year. This one was a free mini quilt pattern that I found off of Pinterest. And I made this 3 years ago, I think. And I just used scraps out of my stash. In fact, the scraps that I used for this quilt, it was from another American flag quilt that I sold last summer and that I plan to remake this year. So it was a lot of fun. Quilted it again on my sewing machine. Lots and lots of fun. If I can find the link to this one, I will put it down below because it was a free one. And I could have swore when I looked a year ago, it was still, you could still get it. So if I can find it, I will link it down below. I don't remember what the name of it was, but I will link it down below because it was really easy. I mean, mostly straight piecing. The stars, I think you were supposed to hand applique the stars on, and I just used some heat and bond, and then I just stitched the stars in place. So it was really easy. I think I worked on it over like a weekend, and it's a great scrap buster project. I'm gonna pause one more time because I feel a tickle in my throat, and then I'm gonna pull what I've been working on. So hang on a sec. So I was trying to figure out how I wanted to explain this particular quilt to you. And the best way that I know how to do it is, I belong to a small quilting group. I met them when I joined the Quilt Guild that was out of Salem. I've left the Quilt Guild. I've been gone now for like 4 years, but I still stayed with my quilting group. And I've known them for, I think, 12 years now, because Ethan was 2 when I first joined the group. I think I joined in September and he turned 2 the February before. So I've been a member of the group for almost 12 years. And when the quarantine, or not necessarily quarantine, but just when everything just started shutting down, Laundry Baskets Quilts, and I think her first name is, I'm not even going to try to say her first name, but she's Laundry Basket Quilts. And she had this mystery quilt that she had designed a while ago, and she was just kind of looking for a good time to do it. And then when the world kind of started shutting down, she's like, now's the time. And so she started this mystery quilt. It's called Mystery Quilt 2020. I'll link it down below because it is still available. I don't know how long the mystery quilt patterns will be available. It's free. It was a free stitch along. I will put it down below. I don't know how long she's going to keep it free for. So if I were you, I would go check out the link, and if you like it at all, I would start like copying the pattern so that way whenever you do decide to start it, you have the patterns. Unless, of course, she decides to turn it into a book. I don't know. Anyway, so my small group, some of the ladies decided that they were going to participate in this quilt along. I decided not to do it because I didn't have enough of anything to really do anything. I have a lot of like fat quarters and scraps. That's what I have. But nothing that's in yardage or anything like that. So they started doing it, and they got about halfway into the stitch along, and one of the ladies in the group was like, hey, I have an idea for a mystery quilt that we as the group could do. So everyone was like, yay, let's do it. So she listed the fabric requirements, and again, I was like, I don't have enough of anything to do it. And I was talking with my friend Retha, and she's like, we could do our scrappy. I was like, oh, well, yeah, if we do it that way, I totally can join in. So the quilt along started right after my video came out 2 weeks ago, and we've had 6 clues so far, and I'm happy to say that I've kept up. Each clue has X amount of blocks in it that you have to complete, and I'm pretty positive, about 100% positive, that my friend based her inspiration for our mystery quilt on Laundry Basket's mystery quilt. So what she did was she took like the very first clue, the block, and she added or took away elements of it to change it a little bit, to kind of give us something to do. So there's no pattern. The first block came out. I'm just going to show you the first block from one block from each clue. So this was the first, this is the cornerstone. So there's 4 blocks. It's all scrappy. If you follow me on Instagram, on Facebook, also I've been adding them to my blog. So I will put a link to all of those if you want to go see what the other ones look like too. But they're all scrappy. I decided to do, well, originally I was going to do this gray, but my friend Retha was like, you should do yours in navy. And so I'm like, okay. She did hers in gray. And so that's mine. That's the first block. So those are the cornerstones, so the 4 corners. And then this was the next clue. And then I just need to make sure I keep these in order. So the first clue came out, it was 4 blocks. Second clue came out, 8 blocks were needed. Third clue also needed 8 blocks, so it's all these little half square triangles. And hang on a sec. And then the 4th clue came out, and it was, hang on a sec, these stars. And so we had to make eight of those stars. Again, mine were all scrappy. And everyone else in my group has a design board, and I don't. So I'm hoping if I keep them all together in their clues, I'm hoping I'll be able to assemble the quilt. This was number 4. No, I just showed that one, didn't I? Did we repeat it? Nope, it is number 4. I thought it was one of the other ones. Oh, I see what's different. So the first block looks exactly like this, except this is a half square triangle up here. That's what threw me off. So that was number 5. Yes, that was number 5. And then number 6 came out yesterday, so on Thursday, and this was number 6's clue. So I went ahead and did because this block here, so you've got the cornerstone block, and then this one is like diagonal from it. So that's why I went ahead and did the navy again, sort of like I honestly don't know the direction which this quilt is going. So this thing could be a hot mess by the time I'm done. I'm going to show you one more thing, and I'm going to make a little bit of noise rattling. Actually, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to tell you, my grandma and I went on a shop hop back at the beginning of March, and we stopped at this last shop on the shop hop, which was Will and Bees in Salem, Oregon. I had never been to Will and Bees, and it's very cute, and they were very friendly, and there was this quilt that was hanging up on a quilt ladder that I absolutely fell in love with it, and it was because of the colors. It was because it was like pink and then indigo in Civil War reproduction fabrics, and so the quilt has haunted me ever since I saw it. And my grandma and I were going to go back like the next week because she needed to get some backing fabric and she didn't know how much she wanted, and she saw this fabric that she just really, really loved, and then the world shut down. And anyway, I ended up taking my grandma to the dentist on Tuesday, and we got to talking about the backing, or Monday, and we got Tuesday? It must have been Tuesday. We got to talking about the backing, and I said, well, you can call up and order your fabric, and we just have to go pick it up. And so when we got home from the dentist, I called up the shop, ordered it, and then I asked the lady about the quilt because I have not been able to get it out of my mind. And so she was going to do a little research and find out what the name of the pattern was. And when we came to pick up my grandma's stuff, she would let me know. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to insert a picture of what the quilt looks like. It's not the best picture. So what happened was we got to Will and Bees, and I'm telling this story really, really fast because I've got 15 minutes. So I apologize. You're like, Olivia, slow down. On Wednesday, Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? It was Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. My grandma and I went to Will and Bees to pick up her fabric. And when we got there, I talked to the lady about it, and I saw the quilt because you couldn't go into the shop because it was curbside. You could stand outside the shop and she would bring you whatever you ordered, but it's closed to the public. So when she came out to bring my grandma her stuff, I saw the quilt, and when I said, what my grandma's name was, she's like, oh, I remember you. And so she hands me the pattern that the quilt came from. So she said it came out of this book. They did not have it, but she said you could go online and get it, and I did. I found it for $5.99 from Thrift Books, and she said that all they did was pick out 9 blocks from this book, and then that's what they used to make the quilt. So I'm like, fantastic. And so she was talking to another lady, and my grandma and I were standing there, and we were looking through the window, and she goes, do you want me to bring the quilt out to you? And I was like, yeah, that'd be great, thank you. And so she wheels it out to me, and so instead of holding it like this, she, because you have to maintain like 6 feet distance between each other, and so she spread it on a table, and then she wheeled it to the door so that I could see it. I took a picture of it. It's not the best picture, but I took a picture of it, and I will insert it right here. Again, I apologize if I'm going really, really fast, but my nephews are going to be here in like 15 minutes, and that means that I have to clean all of this stuff up and, start the upload process and all the things. So I apologize. Please don't thumbs down me because I'm going fast. So let's get back to the quilt. So you saw the quilt. Again, it's not the best picture, but you got to do what you got to do. And the lady was so super nice, and I was talking to her about it, and I said, is there any way you could kit it up for me? And she's like, I totally can. I would love to. And I've fiddled with these because I just love them. So it's out of course it's Kim Deal. I love Kim Deal. Maybe that's why I was drawn to it, because it was her fabrics and I didn't realize it, but these are the fabrics. So I think it comes from the line that is called Blush and Blue, and I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. And it's just all of these beautiful indigos, beautiful blush, and the creams. And I love it. Love it. It's not a big quilt, so it's just going to be like another little like wall hanging. It doesn't finish very big, especially as you can see from the picture. But I love it so much. And so I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get started. I don't know if the book is going to make it here. It might not get here until the end of next week. I got a notification that said it shipped. And so I super hope, I really, really hope that it is going to make it here and that I'll be able to start it maybe next weekend. So I think that wraps up the whole video. Thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I really enjoy these chats that we get to have, even though they're one-sided. I thank you so much for those who will comment down below in the comment section. I love it. I love reading all your comments. I've been a little, even on Instagram, I posted a picture on Instagram, and I always try to go in and like thank, but I try my hardest to either go and like all of your comments here on YouTube. I also try to answer them if I can, but I've been trying to be better about saving the, like answering the questions in my video. And sometimes I just can't wait and I'm like, here's your answer. But like even on, Instagram and Facebook, I try to thank, when I post a picture, thank you for your comments. And the last couple of weeks have just been really busy and I haven't been able to, and I feel really bad. But please know that I appreciate your guys' support so much. And I honestly would not be here if it wasn't for you subscribing and tuning in every 2 weeks. And so I really do appreciate it. I hope life will get back to normal to where I can get a little bit more on my game and get better about responding to everybody. If I haven't responded to you and you ask me a question, I will get there. I promise. I'm doing the best I can. But I'm literally running my own circus right now. And sometimes some of the balls I'm juggling kind of fall down. But if you would like to see what I am up to in between my videos, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. You can also follow me on Facebook. I have a Facebook page, and that is called Pumpkin Hollow Quilting. You can always email me. I list that down below. I will be back in 2 weeks, and I will see you later. Bye.